What are examples of being picked last in gym class as an adult? Finding out your friends went out on the town. They never called or texted. I play in a little cover band with some friends of mine. It was funny in a sad way when I saw all of their Facebook posts from their weekend on the lake. Literally every member in the band was there except me. When your friends all make plans together in front of you, and then only invite you because you just heard them make the plans. What if you don't get invited anyways? Before you ask, I left that group. Applying for a job that you're well qualified for. Not hearing anything back for weeks. And then seeing the position being reposted without having even a follow-up email from them. Group lunches at work. Especially when the whole group is heading out to lunch and you're sitting at your desk and they are either totally unaware of you at all, or worse, someone makes eye contact by accident and then is like, oh. Do you want to come? There's an easy solution to this. Start being the person who asks other people what they're doing for lunch. Mention places that you know your colleagues like frequent as potential choices. You don't have to go overboard with it every day of the week. But after a while people will reciprocate and ask you. Being left out of the group chat. Bonus points for finding out when everyone else's phone in the room gets a text at once. In high school I got added to one. They asked me for the answer to a question from our math assignment. I sent it since I had it. Then I was removed. I could still see who was in the group and it was 95% of the math class. Being called last minute for a night out on the town just to find they need a designated driver. Watching Snapchat stories and seeing that everyone is hanging out together but you were never invited and being the friend that people hang out with only because they have no one else. Posts on Facebook with everyone in pictures but you. Even when you were at the same event as them. Someone canceling plans they had made with you 2 weeks prior. The next day. You see Facebook pictures of them out drinking with other people. Only being invited to a party because by chance you happened to be around when they were planning it. Lucky you. When it happened to me I was later told the party was called off. It wasn't. Ouch, that sucks dude. Being laid off first in corporate cuts. But you got picked first. That's like being the first one to speak to the principal. Someone on my team at work had a huge, fun, fancy wedding. I was the only one not invited. Every day, I get to look at the picture that sits in my boss's office of the whole group dressed up in their finest. Having a blast. I'd never say a word. But damn. Exclusion stings. Cut out a picture of you dressed nicely and glue it onto the picture in his office. Watching everyone's birthdays get celebrated at the office. Then when your big 30th comes, no one even bothers to tell you happy birthday. Husband even brought me balloons and flowers. So they knew it was my birthday. A few years ago at work, they threw a makeshift late birthday party with cake and everything at lunch for a guy whose birthday was over the weekend. It was my actual birthday. No one said anything to me. When your brother picks his female best friend to be his best man at his wedding. Instead of you. Then getting shit on by your parents when you consider not having him as your best man. Where were you guys when he was planning? That sounds more like your family being assholes than you being undesirable. Bartender ignoring you. I always pretend it's my height. But I also know this is a lame excuse. A friend who bartends told me put your drink in and lay your hand flat on the bar. He said it can be tough to tell who needs something or is just hanging at the bar. Also he said never whistle or yell. You will never get your drink that way. Not getting to be part of your friend's wedding party. I feel like that's a bit of a win. Personally, I'd be happy not being included but I know that amongst girls especially, it's considered the ultimate snub. Co-workers intentionally keeping you in the dark about things. Like free meals your employer provides and similar policies. Yeah, I've had that happen to me. People are big digs. Conan did a comedy exposé piece about this kind of thing. In his office they had a special group of employees who would contact each other if some free food came in so other employees didn't get any. Being purposely excluded from a family wedding picture. Thanks mom. Only getting attention from men in bars after they have learned that all of the women I'm there with are in happy long-term relationships. Take your consolatory offer to buy me a drink and shove it. Brad. The guy version of this is only getting attention from women starting in your 40s because all the more exciting and attractive guys are already taken and these women have resorted to settling for you. Yet guys get told, just wait and one day women's priorities will change and it'll be your time to shine. Which is really just, one day you'll be the consolation prize. Gee. Thanks. No one wants to be a last resort. Working freelance and the only phone calls you get are, can you work in 10 hours? Never can you work next week? That's when you know your plan's dead. I like you a lot and I could see us together. I'm just not emotionally available to commit to a relationship right now. Or something along those lines. The bonus is when they end up in a relationship with someone in 2 weeks after you parted ways. When somebody says I'm not looking for a relationship, they're really saying I'm not looking for a relationship with you. Those last 2 words are never said, but they are always implied. When New Year's are approaching and you haven't been invited to anything. Everyone goes out for lunch after work dwindles and no one invites you. Getting added to a group chat and realize your friends' co-workers have been chatting long before you were added. At least you get ducking added. I don't know, it's pretty heartbreaking to notice that the group conversation shifts as everyone realizes that you were added on accident and dies off semi-quickly. They made another group chat. A few years ago, a group of friends from church and I were discussing starting a small Bible study group. We had a couple lengthy conversations about it after Sunday services. But then I never heard any more about it. A month or so later, I found out they started a group without me. When I asked someone about it, I was told that a woman, who was not even there when we talked, had a vision during her prayer time about a small group starting that included all the other women. But not me. So basically, Jesus told her to exclude me. Oh. For me, it was when everyone went on the camping trip I initially planned. They made a separate group chat and went a week before we planned. They were too chicken shit to tell me they invited someone else and replaced my ride to our destination. After that I stopped talking to my friends of the last 8 years of my life. I feel a lot better. It made me realize how selfish they were. Small edit, since I have a lot of people who think I'm just a whiny asshole. Let me clear this up. I'm not saying my friends uninvited me with malice. They just wanted room for someone else. So the easiest way was to drop me from the trip. That's why I feel like the last to be picked. Because to them I was just a filler friend. Sitting at one of your stepsister's house on Christmas Day and listening to your stepsisters and stepsister-in-law and stepmother planning a fabulous Boxing Day outing that you're not invited to. That happened to my wife. She's not usually hypersensitive socially, but she cried all the way home after that. I feel your wife's pain. My family made it clear this past Christmas that they really don't care if I attend or not. It stung. Sorry she had to deal with that. It doesn't feel good at all. Celebrating your birthday and no one shows up. Easy. Stop celebrating your birthday. I've been 12 for the last 18 years. Auditions and job interviews. Yeah. I got called 6 months after I interviewed, knowing I has not got the position. Well, turns out I was next on their list. Being picked last for a work team building exercise. Stop participating in team building exercises because they are stupid. Problem solved. Gee, if only I could. Mandatory work meetings with mandatory sheet. I was asked to come over and fix a friend's laptop. Seeing as it was on the way home, I drove to his house and fixed it. Suddenly right after he had to go somewhere and I was shown the door. The way he did it. Right after I fixed it, just walked over, opened the door and said I have to head out. Thanks. A few months later he had computer problems again and I just made up excuses not to go. He was pretty persistent. Told him $200 and I'll come out. Otherwise no. Stand up for yourself, don't let people cheat on you. Joining a hot yoga class for the first time. Being easily 50 pounds. Heavier than the heaviest person there. And having the yoga instructor completely ignore you. But focus on communicate with the only two others in the room. Humiliating experience. People around you getting raises when you asked for one before any of them didn't know you're doing just as much if not more than they are. It is what it is. I've been in the pipeline for a raise since November. Just so happens to always be an inconvenience when I try to push for it. At work. Getting transferred frequently without promotion. Managers shuffling their problems to another group. No room for you in the car when everyone agrees to carpool, so everyone does that awkward shifting about to make room when we all know it's easier for you to go in another car. Someone in the office showing everyone a hilarious photo on their phone. They show everyone but you. You laugh anyways cause everyone else is laughing, but inside you don't laugh. Being seated by the toilets in a restaurant. I work in a restaurant and they probably have a good reason for it. Some servers have certain tables assigned to them. If you get put into a shitty spot and you see a better spot, it's probably because your server needs more tables. Where I work, if you ask, we will move you to the table you want if it's not reserved. Being asked. Begged by the bride, one of my oldest friends, to be a bridesmaid, then have her change her mind. And tell everyone but me that she changed her mind. Imagine my confusion when they had the fittings and I found out after the fact. I felt like I was in elementary school all over again. More than a few times recently I've asked friends if anything was going on. Each time I get the response of, "Oh, we're just gonna hang out at home tonight and go to bed early." The next day I notice that they've posted a dozen pictures of themselves out on the town having a blast from the night before. Sigh. More years than I can remember I'd plan and invite my friends to my birthday. More years than I'd like to admit, no one showed up. So now I take a me day. I buy myself a mini cake. Have a few drinks. Nap. Play video games and go see a movie. A few years after I started doing this, a friend asked me why I stopped inviting her to my birthday events. Stone-faced. I replied that she never showed up same as everyone else, so I stopped trying. Her face went red and she changed the topic. I'm married now with a toddler. All I want for my birthday these days is to sleep in and have a cupcake. When you find out that there are two group chats for all of your friends. One with you. And another without you. Someone replying to you on a dating website 3 months after you sent the message. Still better than the other 98% that just ignore it or ghost you. Took a female friend of mine out dancing for her birthday. We had been friends for a long time, so it wasn't anything romantic. But I asked her to dance with me, country western type bar. So upbeat vibe. She was hesitant. There was a group of girls sitting across the bar. She challenged me to ask one of them to dance. If one of the girls said yes, my friend would dance with me. Plot twist, I got all of the girls in the group to dance with me. At the same time. What happened next is the shitty part. Once I finished dancing with the group of girls, she started dancing with some other dude. Didn't pay much attention to me after that. We never did dance. IDKY. But even though we were just friends, it still kinda stung. When your close friend of 6 years calls you up to announce her engagement and the wedding invitation never comes in the mail, so you call her up and mention the wedding. You hear her laugh and say, "Well, it's this weekend, you aren't invited. Up yours. Dibby." When people you know are getting married and everyone is invited except you. It used to bug me, but I realize weddings are expensive and they can't invite everyone. Homelessness. You're basically the last person, American specifically, society wants to help. Being the designated picture taker when you just wanted to be in the picture. This just happened to me. My daughter is in Girl Scouts and we went to a show together as a troop. Apparently all the other moms carpooled together and no one asked us if we wanted to. I felt really weird about it. Replacing your, now retired, supervisor while there's a competition for the job. Passing the competition, but management choosing someone else anyway. Oh. And extending your replacement period long enough for you to deal with all the year-end crap coming this way, not for the replacement to deal with, and training the other person that will replace you. Oh. And still waiting to get paid the extra money, all this crap I have to deal with. Full stop. When you are out with your girlfriends and each one of them gets hit on at the bar while you stand there like a lemon waiting for someone to even notice you exist, let alone buy you a drink. Then you end up looking after the bag's coats while your more attractive friends go dance with the men. Nope, not bitter about this at all. P. Being on Tinder for 6 months plus and only getting one match, it was a spam account. When you leave for lunch and come back with it and everyone ordered delivery from the same place without you because they just knew you were going to get your usual at the place down the block. No way was that sheet spontaneously coordinated in the 2 minutes after you left. And then they all talk about their shared lunch from the fun place while teasing you about your salad.